Welcome back to Uncrypt with Jocelyn. Today I'm here with Jehan. He is the co-founder and managing partner of Kinetic Capital here in Hong Kong. Nice to meeting you, Jehan. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
So tell us about what Kinetic Capital is about.
Sure, so Kinetic is an institutional platform for crypto and blockchain. And what that means is we are a multi-pronged institution which focuses on building technology for the crypto community, also advising early, middle, and increasingly late-stage projects and enterprises on tokenization, which include launching token sales and ICOs. We also have an asset management arm where we focus on investing through a number of different strategies, including early stage equity, so seed and A rounds for blockchain companies, investing in cryptocurrency and tokens with a venture capital type of approach, so a long bias. We also have a multi-strat hedge fund where we trade cryptocurrencies. And we're also launching institutional exposure type of products like tracking funds for BTC and ETH. We also have an OTC desk to facilitate large block trades. And we're launching a project called Caspian, which is an institutional platform for trading for sophisticated investors to manage all of their exchange connectivity. And then finally, we have a community arm which focuses on events and awareness and education. And we have a great conference called Nifty coming up, which is a non-fungible token, an ERC 721 conference, hackathon, and it's free. And it's in Hong Kong on July 24th to 26th.
Right, and let's talk about some of your very successful or interesting portfolios. Can you just tell us a bit more about your investment portfolio?
We love all of our projects equally, whether we're advising them or investing in them. We've been fortunate to invest in a number of great projects, too many to really list individually, but you can see some of them on my laptop here. We've obviously invested in Omise Go and Gibraltar Blockchain Exchange and Icon, but I personally invested in the Ethereum crowd sale, so early days. But recently, we've been fortunate to invest in projects and participate in projects like Thunder and Oasis or Origo, and so many to kind of mention. But we've been fortunate in our activities.
Right, and I guess each fund, when they invest, they will have their own exclusive strategy in terms of investment. And what will be the single most important criteria when you look at investment opportunities?
I think that we come from a more fundamentals type of space when we invest, and therefore the most important thing is actually the people behind it. Ideas are cheap, execution is valuable, but I think that the most important thing and the most irreplaceable thing are the people that are behind the actual project. So when we look at investments, we're really looking at the team, and to be frank, sometimes a project doesn't work out, but if the team is strong, then perhaps they'll bounce back and they'll launch something else. So we take a really long-term view because ultimately we're in the business of investing in relationships, not just investing in projects. So good people with good ideas, with good execution, good energy, and a good attitude, I think is really the most important thing for us.
And Kinetic Capital, you're physically based in Hong Kong, and do you think it's true that for some funds that's based in Asia, they're more likely to invest in projects based in Asia just because they'll be able to have more face-to-face meetings with them?
I think that for funds in Asia, everybody needs to be quite international these days. We probably have maybe the majority of our investments are in Asia, but it's not by a lot. I think there's a lot of great development happening in Asia. I think Asia tends to be more nimble and quicker in terms of the kind of projects that come out. So there's just a greater number, I think, of projects that are coming out of Asia. But at the same time, I think that obviously a lot of the kind of product design is maybe stronger in coming out of Silicon Valley, in the Bay Area. So a lot of great teams out there. As far as the kind of overall, I mean, we are happy to invest in projects, and to be honest, it's really hard to tell, quote unquote, where a team is, because you have a project which is domiciled in Hong Kong, but the engineers are based all around the world, and at the end of the day, it's less important how you characterize the geography of the project itself, and much more about what are they delivering, and where is their community. I think those are really important questions.
And right now, like the crypto market, when you look at it, it's going a bit slow, and things are not going relatively well. And do you think this will continue for quite a while?
I think the crypto market in the past few months, and especially the last 1 or 2 months, has been really, really challenging. We've seen a number of projects, have problems raising. We've seen some funds even having difficulties, as they're, if they came in relatively later in the year or earlier this year, they're down, 40, 50% potentially. So it's definitely a challenging time. But the other side of it is, for those of us who have been in the space a little bit longer, this is not the first time that we've seen a significant drawdown in the overall market cap of the space. And while it's concerning, it's not a showstopper. This is just another cycle for the crypto markets, one which I think leaves us stronger, and shakes out a lot of the kind of excess speculation, and perhaps really takes away a lot of the kind of the fluff. I think that it's not a bad thing to go through a kind of a reckoning, as we're seeing in the market. And I think for the rest of the year, I'm hopeful that we'll be in more positive territory going forward. But personally, we are prepared to be, flat, or even, going slightly further south. But at the same time, the last couple of weeks have been quite, positive, with a little bit of a steady uptrend. Whether that's a kind of partial blip, or whether that's, what the direction to come, we'll see.
And as someone who's in the position of managing a very successful crypto fund, what do you think are some of your challenges that you face, and what are some of the things that actually really excite you as someone who manages a crypto fund?
I think that the main challenges are, as everybody is kind of like overstretched these days, there's so much opportunity, there's so much that we want to do, and at the same time, if you want to build a long-term business, you just have to try and pace yourself. We're in it for the long haul, which is why we take an institutional type of view on things. And what that really means is step by step, build, improve, and build, improve, do things the right way, buttoned up, with proper types of controls, with regulation in mind, and with a long-term view on the space and where it's going, no shortcuts. At the same time, you have to balance that out with the daily dynamics of a space which is learning about itself as quickly as it's developing. And you have to be nimble, and you have to be willing to kind of experiment, and you have to be willing to take short-term losses in order to build the type of long-term vision. And not just for your company, but for the entire space. So, my background is from the meetup space. So I started the Ethereum meetup, and I was one of the co-founders of the Bitcoin Association in Hong Kong, which are two of the primary meetups for blockchain and crypto in Hong Kong. And I think that what we're all trying to do at Konetik is to continue building that community, whether it's through the investment side, whether it's through the advisory side, and that just takes time, and it takes plugging away.
Right, and just to finish up, would you like to share what's your short-term and long-term vision for Konetik?
Sure. I think that our short-term vision for Konetik is to be really a support for projects, early and middle and increasingly late-stage projects, to understand tokenization, to understand blockchain technology, and to deploy it as quickly, as efficiently, and as sustainably as they can, not only for themselves as a business, but also for the overall ecosystem. And then I think the long-term vision for Konetik is really to be a support to the community. Our mission is to spread blockchain and spread tokenization, and to try and pioneer and support the ideas by which tokenization can, contribute to technology, can contribute to government, to business, to society, and even beyond Konetik. My wife and I, Nydia, have started a foundation called Social Alpha, which is, the sticker here, which is a crypto charity devoted towards giving back. We collect donations from funds and whales and ICO projects. We have a great advisory and vetting committee consisting of people from Smith & Crown, from Kyber, Sandra Rowe from XCME, and we redeploy those funds by giving out no-strings grants to projects that are using blockchain for social impact. So it's not an investment fund, we just take donations and we give them right back out to projects that we think have a benefit to society. So it's about taking a more holistic view. It's not just about Kinetic, it's not just about making money, it's about an overall sustainable kind of design for how we can spread blockchain going forward.
Well, this sounds great. Well, thank you so much, Jehan. That was Jehan from Kinetic, and this was Jocelyn from Uncrypt Jocelyn. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.